We are in the Tomer Devorah, Parak Yud, and here the Tomer Devorah is going through the Tiferes Hayoim, different spheres that apply to different parts of the 24-hour period. There was something interesting yesterday about 2 o'clock in the afternoon or so. So 2 seminary girls knocked on my door. So I was learning through some. So are you Rabbi Haber? So I said,
yes. I think so.
Which one?
Chief Rabbi. Chief Rabbi. So one of the girls said that they went through Tiferes Hayoim with my Sefer Spiros, and they went through Aseres Yeshuva with the first 10 days. But now they learned the Charusa, and now they want to know, like, where do we find information about the Tiferes Hayoim? So I said, Tomer Devorah, Eric, you? Wow. Interesting story.
That's the next book, right?
They would ask you a week ago. I had no idea what you were talking about. Right, Tiferes Hayoim, next book, right? First 10 hours.
First 10 hours.
First 10 hours, starting at Shkia. So what we said is that, I don't want to go over it again, but what we learned is that a person goes to sleep at around Shkia time, takes out Yechavim. Rabbi Tam went to sleep apparently a little bit later. That whole idea of what time Laila is, what time Zman Krishma, so has to do with the word B'shach B'cha. So B'shach is when you go to sleep. So the whole machlekes is when do you go to sleep. So I don't know that the machlekes was exactly should the sun be in this position or that position. I think that's the secondary machlekes. The machlekes is when is a Laila. Is a Laila when it starts getting dark, when it finishes getting dark, when there's Gimel Techavim. When's bedtime? That's really, when's B'shach B'cha, when is bedtime? I think that's the simple Balabata Shipshat, if you will, in the whole sugya of Zman Kriyashma. So that's talking about the when you go to sleep, and then we learned that you get up at Chatzos Halayla, and Chatzos Halayla we learned is called Tiferes HaTachtonim, that you're going against your nature, if you will, by getting up at Chatzos Halayla. Although, as I pointed out, if we would keep the Torah clock, it wouldn't be such unless you have to go to work or something like that. It's not such a crazy thing as it sounds. Like Tzadikim get up at Chatzos, but they also go to sleep at Shkia. So like let's say last night, that would have given you 6 hours of sleep or so. So it's not so lo nora. It's just that's the Seder al pi Torah, I guess, because of its impracticality. Apparently, even the Tzadikim don't keep those hours, but those are the hours the Mekubalim kept, and it's so much so that the Ramak writes. I see here a quote from the Ramak. He says that those people that go to sleep at Chatzos and they wake up in nets, tos haviyatim. It sounds pretty good, like you learn until Chatzos you get up in nets, but tos haviyatim, because that's not the way the system works. If you're trying to apply yourself to the spheres. I'm not taking out from this so much what the hour of the day is, because it's for tzaddikim, but what's the message that goes with it? So the message of getting up in the middle of the night is Tiferes HaTachtonim, as we spoke about. And here we come to Hishkim Va'ala Amud HaShachar. Everybody have it inside? Hishkim Va'ala Amud HaShachar Hischil Hu Gam Kein Lavai Likanes Lebeis HaKnesses B'kasher Atzmai B'shloisha Avos. Now, I just shot. And the word seemed funny to me. Hishkim V'ala Amud HaShachar. He was already. We're talking about the guy who already woke up at Chatzos. Was he waking up again at Amud HaShachar? Doesn't indicate that he should go to sleep in between. So I don't know what he meant here by Hishkim V'ala Amud HaShachar. Hischilhu Gam Kein Lavai Lebeis HaKnesses. What's Gam Kein? Hischilhu Gam Kein Lavai Lebeis HaKnesses.
A different person.
So who's the different person? So I wasn't sure how to read this. I actually looked at the Feldheim English Tomer Devorah. So he just says that you get up at Chatzos, and Allah Amud HaShachar, like he changes it a little bit. Hishkim, you get up at Chatzos, as we know, and Allah Amud HaShachar, you should go to Shul. But it just didn't work with the words. I think it's not a correct translation. I think the correct pshat is, take it or leave it, is what I think the pshat is. Hishkim v'Allah Amud HaShachar, when the Amud HaShachar wakes up. You know, morning has broken. When the Amud HaShachar wakes up. Hishkim v'Allah, look how beautiful Lashon. Hishkim v'Allah Amud HaShachar, when the Amud HaShachar wakes up, the day is broken. Hischilhu gam kein lavoi likanis lebeis hakneses. You too should wake up, not wake up, but get up and go to shul. In other words, when you see that the morning has broken, so now it's time to get up and go to shul. So we have the words here. I'm arguing with the translation, but I'm just saying I think it's right. Hishkim ba'Allah Amud HaShachar. You're learning from Chatzos Halayla. And now Hishkim v'Allah Amud HaShachar. So Hischil, now you too should begin. Gam Kain, you too should begin Lavei Lebeis HaKnesses. I'm sorry, Likones Lebeis HaKnesses. Likones Lebeis HaKnesses. V'kashar atzmai b'shloish ha'avos, and be makasher yourself with the shloish ha'avos. What explains what this means, Baruch Hashem.
The second part, the Likones Lebeis HaKnesses, seems like that everyone's there already, and like he's learning, maybe he's coming to join everyone else to shul.
What's your raya?
That he who got him Likones, the knesset, like they're getting together in the basic Knesses. I mean, the first part I agree on, the day he wakes up. The second part seems like
why is everybody there already?
Because he's learning,
except for him.
He's learning. He's doing his.
I mean, there's people learning there, maybe, or whatever.
They went to davening, but he's like no.
So I considered that shot also, but I just don't like Megatesa. Why is he even concerned? Like, why would he have to add in here that now join the crowd? That's what you're saying. Now join.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be
Some more geschmack, I think, that unless you disagree, that his chilhu, not only the Amud HaShachar, but also he should start.
The Rav mentioned last week about Scheinberg, that Tzadikim who daven at home and then come to shul.
So it works for him.
So, right. So maybe.
Okay. It's not, I'm just shocked. I'm not,
It's supposed to be up in Chatzos. It's supposed to be up in Chatzos. Join with us.
that's what I just said. So you're up at Chatzos, and now what?
And now join the show.
But the whole shul, I mean, what am I davening with Amaratza? Everybody's up at Chatzos, now it's time to go to shul.
Right.
So what do you mean, Hischil Gamu? Why are we all of a sudden concerned about everybody else in the shul?
That's Alois. Hishkim v'Allah Amud HaShachar.
So when you're doing the regular people, that's what you're saying. So I'm saying a different shot. Maybe you're right, maybe you're not. That's you're saying the same thing as he's saying. But I'm saying maybe the shot is Hischil Gam Kain. He joins the sun, just like the sun starts off with the Avodas Hashem. So to you, time to go to shul. Start off with your avodah, a different kind of avodah than the avodah that you were doing from Chatzos Halayla, whichever way you want to look at. Hischil hu Gam Kain Lavai. He's talking about now the subject here is the Amud HaShachar, Yaakov. Right? The subject is the Amud HaShachar. So now I see that the sun has started to come up. So his chilhu Gam Kain Lavai Likonis. What?
Because at that
the Hebrew works out right.
when the sun comes up, that's how you can see how to get there.
That's right. That's his clock.
Right.
So his chilhu Gam Kain Lavai. So now it's time for me to join the. You see. Maybe I'm being over poetic, but it's time for me to join the Bria and starting to go to the shul. But I just let's leave it for a second because I think it'll all become clear. But the hard part, that's the easy part. The hard part is the kosher atzmei b'shleish avos. What does that mean?
Before you are.
Yeah, what is that? That's with davening shmona esrei already. He's holding at alois hashachar. You're not davening shmona esrei until that's a chava. So what's the bakasher? So he says, this is not talking about shmona esrei. Not talking about Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. We're talking about something else here. But Pesach, Beis HaKnesses, before you even get into the shul, when you get to the doorway of the shul, I'm hoping that after we learn this morning, it's like a whole new hanhaga that we can have here. There's something we can do. Oimer, you should say, V'ani b'roi v'chastecha avei v'secha. Al heichal kodshecha b'yirosecha. So that's the pasuk you say before you walk into shul, as you walk into the shul. Ani b'roiv chastecha avay v'secha ishtachava el heichal kadshecha b'yirosecha. That's the pasuk. So you have three bechinos there. Ani b'roiv chastecha avay v'secha ishtachava el heichal kadshecha b'yirosecha. Three things. First thing is Ani b'roiv chastecha. Which one of the avos was chesed? Avram. Ani b'roiv chastecha avay v'secha. Ishtachava el heichal kadshecha was Yitzchak. It's going to explain it. Was Yitzchak. B'Yirasecha, Yaakov said, Ba'noira ha'mokim hazeh. Ein zekin beis elokim.
I would think Euro would be, but not the word.
Okay, so we need to straighten out our mitos here. Gvura is not Yira. So what do we? So you have. This is not my explanations. Is let's go further. V'koilol atzmai. So now, meaning, I'm coming into shul and I'm talking to Hashem. Like I'm visiting the Beis HaKnesses. Taste that I'm coming into a room and all of a sudden talking to Hashem. Like where did that come from? The answer is it came from Avraham was Masakid Tfilah Shachris, and Yitzchak was Masakid Tfilah Mincha, and Yaakov was Masakid Tfilah Harvest. That's what the Gemara says in Bracha. So by the matter for me to even have the ha'azah to think that I'm talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and He's listening, and I'm in this matzav of I'm talking to Hashem, is coming by Yitzchak. Yitzchak went out to David. Tikei Tfilas Mincha. Yaakov Avinu was Spal Tfilas Marav. And you see it in the words that Chesed, Yira, which is Yaakov, and Ishtachava for some reason is Yitzchak. So Gil says, why is Yitzchak Ishtachava? That's the only one that's a little bit. But let's get there. We all know the segel that when you take Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferes, so Chesed is on the right, and Gvura is on the left, and Tiferes is in the middle. So if you're Kol Atzmai with these three, so now you are Tiferes Yisrael. Meaning there's a sort of balanced person, which is, it's easy to say, well, I'm more Chesed, and this one's more Din. But the trick is, that's not avoda, that's just what you're born with, maybe. Avram was born a certain way, and Yitzchak was born a certain way, and Yaakov was born a certain way. They're people, so forth and so forth. But after the avoda that they did, so now they were all Tiferes. So Tiferes is what we're looking for. Our goal is Tiferes. This is before we even get to shul. This is on the doorway. Koilol atzmai b'sayit Tiferes ha'adam. So when we're talking about being makasher oneself with the Shloisha Avos, we're not talking about, later on we're going to reference it when we're down in Shmon Esrei. That's a nets. We're going to say Lokei Avraham, Lokei Yitzchak, Lokei Yaakov. Right now we're just walking into shul, so somehow I'm remembering where I came from. And I'm remembering what I am. And I'm remembering what I have to become. So Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov is where my head should be and my heart should be as I walk into shul. And I say that pasuk, it's a pasuk in Tehillim. Ani b'roiv chastecha v'secha, ishtachva l'heichal kadshecha, kadshecha, I can't remember what the kadshecha is, how much I said, b'yirosecha. V'nichnas l'knesses. Let's translate that. What do?
You
Go into shul.
Sure.
So shul's base up there. No, that's not what it means. V'nichnas l'knesses, knesses means Shechina. In the dictionary, in the lexicon of Kabbalah, knesses zu Shechina. Knesses Yisrael. Knesses Yisrael. There's a Shechina unto itself of Knesses Yisrael.
Isn't the Shekhinah supposed to come after? Like more in brachas than to say like
When the
Shekhinah
10 people
comes,
come.
and if there's not 10 people there, then
That's in the Beis HaKnesses. So the Beis HaKnesses, you thought the Beis HaKnesses is called the Beis HaKnesses because that's the gathering place. No, the Beis HaKnesses means this is the house where we can bring in the Shekhinah.
Only missing
Beis HaKnesses, and the Knesses means Shechina. So a Beis HaKnesses stands very high. It's even higher than a Beis HaMedrash. The Beis HaKnesses is the place, Al Yidei, 10 people, that we can bring in the Shechina. Knesses is Shechina. It's also the desire.
We jump from Tiferes to Malchus, it seems over here.
Right. We'll try to work out all the math. V'nichnas HaKnesses, Malchus. Malchus.
So really, what is Kalal? Kalal Chesed is Tiferes, just before that.
Means v'kolel atzmoi beside hatiferes adam kalul chesed gvura tiferes. We get ourselves to a place of tiferes. There's a lot of work to do before you even walk into shul. You get yourself to the place of tiferes, which means that I'm thinking Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. I'm thinking this all comes. This is the purpose of this pasuk. So it's not just like a Sephardi thing to do. It's a real thing to do. Ani b'roiv chastecha avoi veisecha, eshtachava el heichal kodshecha, v'yirosecha. I just make it a little bit, because I'm a small person, so I understand things in a small way. But I know that if one would come early and stand outside the shul once for 10 minutes and work this whole thing in their mind, then thereafter, every time you come to shul, toch shnia is there. They only have to do this work once. And then that's what the pasuk means. So it's all there. L'mala min hazman. So what I'm doing now is I'm engaging the Shechina. The Tiferes Ha'adam engages the Shechina. So Gil asked, what happens to Netzach Hoid and Yesod over here? Like what happened? Okay, well we'll work with that kasha. But right now we know that it's the same thing repeated. Chesed Gvur Tiferes, Netzach Hoid Yesod, same thing repeated. All comes down to Malchus. If you look at the chart, boom, it's one line going down and one line going up. So I'm working now through Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov coming to the place of Knesses. So Nichnas HaKnesses, Malchus. On the bottom he brings LaKnesses, he midas Malchus. So we're not talking about the Beis HaKnesses. You come to Shul, read Shul. No. Nichnas HaKnesses, you come to the Shechina. Now, why is the Shul called the Beis HaKnesses, of all things? The answer is because it's the house of the Shechina. Beis Hashem, Beis Malchus. Beis Malchus. What's Beis Malchus mean? Malchus means that it's all very gashmi here. The tables, chairs, room, parchment, ink, like everything's very. But Malchus means that we're taking that which we have, taking our money, our kochos, and we're making a place which is B'yuchat Hashem, like the Mishkan. So that's Malchus. The Mishkan is Malchus. Asali mikdash v'shachanti v'soicham. Shechina is Malchus. Shechina. It's all Shechina is a Malchus. I'm just random quotes from the Zohar. Knesses is a Malchus. Shechina is a Malchus. It's all the same thing. All Malchus means, it's easy. All Malchus means is where it's Hisaris HaTachtonim. I'm taking that which is ours, that which is human, that which is Gashmias, and I'm saying everything came into this world. That's all Ruchnis. Hits the ground, still nothing, zero. But now, emes mi'aretz titzmach, emes malchus. That now comes, what sprouts from the ground has to do with my avodah. Has to do with my plowing and my sowing and my planting. So what sprouts from the ground, if it's sprouting for the malchus /shemhu, everything I'm doing in this world of Gashmias is malchus.
Where's the avodah in your side?
We're going to get to your side. That's what you just asked. that the Netzach and Hoid and Yesod is missing from this equation, right? So we're going to get, but it's the same thing because Chesed Gvur Tiferes, Netzach Hoid Yesod, all comes to Malchus. So there's different levels of Malchus, right? You with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the new Beis HaKnesses, is it something that is done from the word go, like the first time, like to make a Chanukah basic Knesses?
Also,
something we have to do every day.
Every day, because as David says that until 10 people come, there's no Shechina Shorim.
So it means like this is the best place because of whatever reason to bring the Shechina.
Right. Do you remember if you were here a few Friday nights ago? So I spoke about the inyan of davening in shul, as opposed to just davening with a minyan. There's two separate din. People are confused. There's an inyan of davening with a minyan, and there's different halachas. So, for instance, you could be considered. Let's say you're the back row there, like the boss. You could be considered part of the minyan, maybe, but you can't if you have if you can hear and you can see, but you're not necessarily considered part of the Beis HaKnesses. It's a different story. Beis HaKnesses has to be roiv pasuach. There's different halachas for Hilchos Beis HaKnesses and Hilchos Minyan. It's a very different part of Shulchan Aruch. People make the two things the same. So it could be, let's say you daven, like I wonder here, like sometimes bechitza is there, so the new bechitza, so some people daven behind the bechitza. So yacholiyot that you're davening with a minyan, but you're not davening in the Beis HaKnesses. It's two different things. What's the inyan of davening in the Beis HaKnesses? B'chlal, we have to learn the halachas. We did. What's the inyan of davening in the Beis HaKnesses? Because that's where the Shekhinah is. It's a different story. So one thing is now you take 10 people, put them in the Beis HaKnesses. Bingo, you got 10 on 10. You've got a malchus al malchus.
What's the Shekhinah is a minister?
What?
Is the concept of Shekhinah in Beis HaKnesses just 10 people?
If you have 10 people without a Beis HaKnesses, you mean?
Yeah,
No, the Shekhinah shari, but it's not the same as the makom of the Shekhinah. It would be like not having a Beis HaMikdash or not having a Mishkan. We have Klai Asuli Mikdash v'shachanti b'soychan. So there's an inyan of the makom HaKnesses. So that's what a Beis HaKnesses is. Knesses means aratzmai, means malchus. Important. Why is it called Knesses? Because this is where all the kochos of the spheres, the chesed, gvura, tiferes, netzach, yesod, all come together. Knesses. That's where we come together. Where the whole bria comes together. If you, by the way, if you look carefully, not just in Kabbalah, but even like if you read Rav Hirsch on the chomer that was made, that the Mishkan was made out of, Hashem was B'tzalel together, where B'daktek that the whole bria should be in there. Everything, animals, and stuff to grow for the ground, all kinds of everything should be in the Mishkan. Why? Knesses. Let's get it all together, right? So this is what we're talking about, and Mechavin now he explains what to be Mechavin here. Mechavin b'pasuk b'shloisha avos. You should think while you're saying the pasuk of Ani b'rayv chasel avoy v'secha shtach v'leichal v'shecha b'yirosecha. Think about the three avos. B'rayv chastecha is lashon of the Zohar. Da Avram. We know Avram was chesed. Titan emes Yaakov chesed lav. Eshtach vel heichal kodshecha da Yitzchak. Why? Gil asks why. Why is Yitzchak? We find Yitzchak
it was
being
a sacrifice.
Yeah, that's pretty bowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, lowering your head. Da Yitzchak. The Mesitre, let's try to translate the Zohar. The Mesitre hashtachavoya lichleif kaimasai neged midas hadin liyos nitche mipaneha. Va'az hasha nitches mipanav ki yumshach shefa harachmim milmala alel lamatka. I don't know if anybody knows what he's saying, but we all know that he's saying something, right? He's saying something very big here, right? Also very big over here. So, I think it's exactly what Eliezer is saying, actually, that the idea to be mevatel yourself to a din. This was the midah of Yitzchak. Okay, if I'm supposed to get shechted now, I'll get shechted now. If I'm supposed to be a korban, I'll be a korban. Ironically, that when you're kofef to the midas hadin, you're nitzal from the midas hadin. And here we have probably the most important thing that we have to learn here this morning. That one has to bow to the midas hadin. But what does that mean? Einoid movada. That's all it means. Einoid movada.
You mevatel yourself to
Mevatel yourself to the Midas Hadin. Einoid Movadai, to the Rebbeinu Shalom. To make it easier. And then as you're Mevatel yourself to the Rebbeinu Shalom, so you're saved, as was Yitzchak. So it needed Yitzchak to
teach us.
bow down to the Midas Hadin. That was his koach. Right? That was his koach. The Gevurah of Yitzchak was his koach. But by doing that, so he was saved. Gufa. Like the Gemara says, that if a person's in a makam sakana, he should always be misponing, the Gemara in Brachos, be misponing in Einoid Milvadoi. So Einoid Milvadoi, and then you'll be saved from the makam sakana. Einoid Milvadoi really means the opposite. I'm ready to be makabel, whatever's supposed to happen to me. But somehow or another, once you're at that point, then you're in a different madrega of tzaddik, and once you're a madrega of tzaddik, so then that doesn't have to happen to you anymore. You accomplished this. You accomplished it already with your tznuah. You don't have to accomplish it now with your ma'isa. So Malkam Sakana, right? The sugya of the week. Malkam Sakana, the Klal Yisrael is in a Malkam Sakana. I think Bigat Eretz Yisrael is in a Malkam Sakana. But nobody's saying let's all pick up and move to. Well, where are you going to move anyway? I mean, even politically, it's. Does anybody think that if you look at the? I'm sorry, we're talking politics for a minute, but I just can't help myself. If you look at the tashtit of what was built here in the last 60 years, the Gashmias, you're talking about how many trillions of dollars of roads and buildings and high-tech companies and Sava, and so. Does anybody really think that we're all going to pick up and just leave and move to Asia because people are walking around with knives stabbing people? It's absurd. It's an absurd. Okay, we'll see. It's a country. I mean, leave it to the Jews to do that kind of thing. But it's not hegioni. It's not hegioni. You can find an eitzah. I mean, but it's not. Nobody's picking up and leaving. But the thing is that when a person's b'makom sakana, so what's supposed to be misponing in the Einoid Milvadoi, and the way this is physically manifested is with a hishtachava, by bowing down. Let's explain something. That Yaakov meets Esav. Vayishtachavu sheva pamim, vayishtachaveh sheva pamim artsa. Like gewaldig. Yaakov bows down to Esav, like what? It's almost embarrassing puzzle. Shtachav Sheva Pamim Artsa. Says the Baal term on the spot, I noticed. Al Shem HaKosav Sheva Yipol Tzadik V'Kam. Tzadik falls 7 times before he's able to finally arise. Means that the pshat is that Yaakov wasn't bowing down to Esav per se. He's Makabel Sadin. He's Makabel Sadin. If Esav is a Gibor that wants to kill him, what is Yaakov meant to do? In his dream, he fought. He wrestled all night long. In reality, when you get out of the dream, here's Esav and here's me. What am I supposed to do? So Yaakov Avinu said, my derech is, Hakol Vo Yaakov, is to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So if you can fight, fight. But I mean, the derech is turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And his avodah was, Vayishtachavu Sheva Pamim Artsa, to be machniya himself and be misponing into the idea of Einoid Milvado. It doesn't mean that I'm not supposed to take physical action, but that's not the point. You see, Yaakov Avinu was Mechan Atzmai L'Shloshit Dvar. There was Avodas Hashem, there was Doirain, there was Milchama. I mean, he was ready for Milchama. But it does mean that one part of it is, so you have the 3 branches. You'll have your Sahal, that's one derech. Diplomacy, that's another derech, the Doron, right? And then you'll have the Avodas Hashem. I presume that's the most important thing, but Yaakov Avinu was Mechan Atzmai L'Shloshit Dvar when it came to meeting Esav. But the part that we're focusing on here is Vayishtachu Sheva Pamim Artsa, and apparently every tzaddik has to go through a process of Sheva Yipol Tzadik V'Kam. See, let's understand what is what does it mean to bow down? The verse says that Rabbi Akiva, when he used to daven, they used to start in one place and they used to find him in a different place. He was so busy with his ishtachavoyas and his kiddos, he used to daven like they didn't know it was somersaults in the middle of davening. I heard once, I think it was the second Lubavitcher Rebbe that used to daven Shemon Esrei, and he used to they used to find him outside. He was doing Yonim of Tzadikim. Well, let's keep it simple. We don't have to go outside. But the simple thing is that my head is the part that Hashem strategically put on top of my body. Lalamdecha, that this is where I'm at. I have to think things through, and my body has to follow my head, not my head, my body. Like a dog. Your head is like, we're talking about a human being. So a human being, your head always has to be on top of your body. Kabbalistically, you're not allowed to even sleep without a pillow, because your head has to be risen higher than your body at all times, except for Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av, because that was the Avelus of Tisha B'Av was that the body won. So the head is there. Now the head is very chashuv. The head is is determining what every move that I'm going to make, every step that I'm going to take, every word that I'm going to say. Everything's determined by the head. Keep it high. Hold your head up high. And when you come to Shemona Esrei, take your head and put it all the way down. So what am I saying? I'm saying this is what I am. This is what you are. And I'm bowing my head before you. I'm taking everything that I control, my whole control panel, and I'm lowering it before your control panel, meaning Dahainu, I'm a Kabbalist Midas Hadin. That's what it means. It means I'm a Kabbalist and Hadin. The Rambam starts off, Paragalov Halacha Beis, says that you're not really Oived Avodah Zarah until you're Mishtach La'echad Min HaBruim. There's different ways to be Oived Avodah Zarah, but you're not really worshipping an idol until you're Mishtach La'echad Min HaBruim. We don't bow down to anybody. Don't bow down to anybody. Now I have a friend, a Baal Tshuva of mine, David Lazarus, became like a gadol in his inyanim of special education. But he's not my Baal Tshuva. He's actually a Chabadnik, but he became. I was there, but he became from. He was a chassid of the Maharaj. What was one? John Lennon's guy. Indian guru.
Yes.
Maharaji, Maskir Avodah Zarah. John Lennon said Basayf he's a fraud. He changed his whole life because of him. In any case, he came to Buffalo, New York, Maharaji, and when he came, and there were thousands of people that came to it was the 60s, the early 60s. Thousands of people came to the airport to be Makabel Panim him, and that so much so that they opened up the air. Like wasn't waiting inside; they were actually waiting on the airfield, and the plane was there. He was masber to me, and they let these thousands of people come out there. And when he walks out of the, waiting for him to walk down the steps of the. So Ad Kedei Kach was his glory, mostly because of the Beatles. I think he was talking about the tail leading the head. Anyways, to make a long story short, standing there for 3-4 hours in the Buffalo snow, and the door did not open. They're just chanting and chanting and chanting. The door didn't open, and so like this thing is the thing is getting more and more. Then finally, the door opens, and out comes the guy, and he stands on the first step, and like simultaneously, automatically, like thousands of people all fell to the ground and bowed down to him. And he looked around, David Lazarus, he said, I'm the only one standing. He was the only one standing. It wasn't fruit, it wasn't anything, but so he thought to himself, I learned when I was a kid, we don't bow down to people. We don't do this. And it was like his neshama. And then he wouldn't do this. So he remained standing. What?
Mordechai.
Yeah, Mordechai lo yishtav. I'm not doing it. You know, it was an intuitive thing. I'm not doing it. It became a chashuv from Jew actually, from this Ma'aseh. But the idea of taking your head and lowering it before something that Hashem created is not to take. So there's no way Yaakov was bowing down to Esav. So what he was doing is Vayishachu Sheva Pamim Artza. He was lowering his head and being mispointed into the Einoid Milvada. You know, just thought of something. The Gemara says, see if I find it fast. The Gemara says a story. The end of Kedushin. Oh, the Gemara says there was like big machlekes going on in the Beis Medrash of Abaya. Abaya was above him. So Abaya, not machlekes Abaya wrote, machlekes in the Beis Medrash of Abaya, and everyone said, "Ana adifna minach tivat ezel ana." There was big politics. Who's more chashuv? Who should sit where? Politics. Shema Abaye de Gavase Habahu. So the Gemara says Habahu Mazik Be Rabbanon de Abaye. At that time, a monster entered into the Beis Medrash of Abaye. I'm just reading. And when people would go into the Beis Medrash, even during the day, where Mazikim are not shoylet, the Gemara says, Havim Mitaski, they would get hurt from this monster. Everybody with me on this? It's a Gemara. It's a Gemara in Kedusha Chavtes. Amar Lahu Loileisiv Leinishu Shpisa. Anyways, the Gemara says the monster had 7 heads. Idmelek Hatanina Deshiva Reshusa. The monster looked like a snake which had 7 heads. So the Gemara says that Rav Yaakov Breder of Achla Bar Yaakov came into the Beis Medrash, who was a tzaddik. Rav Achla came into the Beis Medrash, and he sees the monster with 7 heads that was hurting all the Talmidei Chachamim. So what did he do? He bowed down 7 times. And Kol Kriya Dekara Nasar Chad Resha. Every time he bowed down, one of the heads disappeared. And that's how he got rid of the monster. Now, I don't pretend to know what the Gemara is even talking about over here, why he brings this in here, but it just seems to me that that he bowed down 7 times, and the monster of 7 heads got lost, and Yaakov bowed down to, it doesn't bring this, but Yaakov bowed down to in front of Esav 7 times, and then all of a sudden, the wicked, hateful Esav, the dangerous Esav, when he finally meets him, it's like, hey Yaakov, what's happening? Like, he was machnia Esav completely with this Einoid Milvadoi. So probably the pshat in Rav Yaacov Bar Yaakov, he wasn't bowing down to the monster, but what he was doing is he was bowing down to Hashem. And every time he bowed down to Hashem, so that it lost its koach. If I'm not mistaken, just while we're here, I think the Maharal explains that the monster was Gufa, the machlekes, and the politics that was going on in the Beis Medrash of Abaye, and everybody was like, "Where this is my seat, you sit in front, I'll sit in front," like it was all politics. of politics of Talmidei Chachamim at that time in the Beis Medrash of Abaye. And with the demonstration, that was good for the mazik. I think the Maral says that. I have it in front of me, but I believe the Maral says that. That was good for the monster that bore its ugly 7 heads. However, the tikkun, which Rabbi Yaacov taught everybody, was bektzach, just lower your heads, anivos. Be humble. Humble yourself. Understand that this is Minach Kadosh Baruch Hu. Instead of worrying so much, it's time to lower your head. So you hold your head up high, so then you become proud. And if you become proud, you have politics. So the eitzah to all of this was, Rav Acha the Tzaddik taught in the Beis Medrash of Abaye, is be machniah yourself in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If everybody will be machniah themselves in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there won't be no monsters here. Everything will be fine. And kach happened. And the Gemara reports that the sakana ended at that time. So again, I don't say any I don't say any of the Mefarshim being Madamadas B'chal to the case of Yaakov Esav, or the pasuk of Vayipol Tzadik Sheva Yipol Tzadik V'kam. Thank you. But at L'choris, it's all the same thing. Why Sheva? You don't have to ask that question here. Why Sheva? Obviously, like the Masakin, each one of the Sheva Spheres that are Vahakits. But I think that's a chat, taking ones. So the Tomer Devorah says, it's just understanding Yitzchak. Yitzchak was able to humble himself in front of Hashem. The Mesitre Hishtachavaya Lichvayv Kaimasai, as the words are clear, Lichvayv Kaimasai. There's a time when one has to lower their heads. Neged Midas Hadin, to be Makabel the Din of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Liyos nitcha mipaneha, to be able to be nitcha mipaneha. If I need to evaporate, I'll evaporate. If I need to disappear, I'll disappear. It's the kvoid hamalchus. So all of this, I'll just end on this note. All of this is malchus. Malchus means that I'm giving up that which is mine and giving it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If I get kavod, I get kavod. If I don't get kavod, I don't get kavod. It's all the ikar here is the kvod Hashem, not the ikar ava is the avas Hashem, not the avas Hashem. This is hard. This is difficult. So it's easy to learn about it. It's not so easy to do. But I mean, if when a person feels that they have to give up some of their kavod for the kvod Hashem, if that's what needs to be done, so that's what's happening. If a person dies, it's kiddush Hashem. That's good for what's happening. Giving up my koima zugufa for the kvod Hashem, which is the whole reason we're created anyway. That's what it's all about. That's all it's about. So to do chazara, and then we'll pick it up over here. To do chazara, the pshat is that a person always has to go with koima skufa. A person has to have their head high. Right? You're not allowed. The Rambam says when a person, because then it's this person is more important to me. This idol is more important to me. This job is more important to me. That's El Nechar. That's El Nechar. Well, sometimes it's in here, sometimes it's out there. We don't bow down, but we do bow down to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And here's the irony of it is that the more one bows down, the more HaKadosh Baruch Hu will say, "Oh, you're doing this for me. So for me, the mission accomplished, and I'll make everything work." So the more a person gives up, as the lashon of the Gemara, the more one gets. The more one gives, the more one gets. But you're not getting for you. The more one's doing for kvod Hashem and not for kvod Atzma. Doing parnasa, you're doing whatever you're doing, but you're doing it for kvod Hashem, not for kvod Atzma. The more the kvod Hashem is there, the more the kvod Hashem is there, the more miracles, the more beautiful, the more hatzlacha a person has. So the way to get. See, Rav Scheinberg used to always say that people used to ask people for a donation. So they used to say, "Look, when I'll get some money, I'm happy to give you some money." Right now, it's tough. So he used to say that's what the Goyim say. By the Jews, by the Goyim, they say, "When I get, I'll give." But by the Jews, they say, "When I give, that's what I'm going to get." It's like it really works the other way around. That because when a person's machni himself for kvod Hashem, in Masir Moshe Nefesh, that's when Hashem says, okay, you're my man. If you're my man, I'll give you whatever you need, as much pardos as you need, as much health as you need. So that's the bowing. We got to bow down to the monster, or before the monster.
Why in the Shemon Esrei about 4 times?
Okay, so let's talk about that. But in the meantime, the first place we bow down is by the Avos.
What's the king and queen when is allowed to they bow their head a little bit or even?
So does having a Sefer Torah make a Beit Knesset? I mean, what?
No.
No.
You can have a Sefer Torah in your house.
That's not a
It has
Beit.
to be a Makam Yuchad for Kedusha. It's the only way to make a Beit Knesset.
Uh-huh.
That's why he says, Yoni, when you make a Hanukkah Sabais, what are you saying?
Right.
This is a Beit Knesset. It's not a multi-purpose room.
Right.
You can make it tonight, but it's
Right.
Beit Knesset.